recap lesson 1 from the 52 weeks of momentum course that I am taking. And I have to say, there was just so much to take from this first week already. It's just like overwhelming, in a good way, but overwhelming. Like just so many things, so many changes, so many wins and breakthroughs that I've already had in such a short amount of time. And a lot of it was just based on these simple suggestions, techniques, and things that we've been asked to do and to try out in the first part of this week. So essentially, the lessons are really kind of explanations of things that we need to do. There's also assignments and exercises. I'm going to do that in a separate video, but right now I want to really just go over the concepts and ideas and thoughts that we have learned in the group so far. So here are the kind of the main key points. One of the biggest things that is like a key component of what we're doing in this group is journaling. And Benjamin Hardy, the leader of the group, it really attributes journaling, regular journaling, to all the success that he's had. Now, if you've only heard about Benjamin Hardy through me posting him in the group, I'm like a super fan, right? He has an amazing journey. You know, he came from a messed up place. He was super unhealthy, all these different things that were going on, and through some simple steps of like running, he's like a gamer. Like he stayed up really night just like doing the game thing every night, just all this stuff, right? But then he started like running and all this stuff. I mean, it's a long story, but basically in a short amount of time, he has now turned his life around. He's, married. He's like fostering 3 kids. He's in the process of finishing his PhD in psychology. He went from 0 subscribers to I think he's like at 400, 500,000. All of these things. Now that might sound that impressive. You might be like, oh, I know someone with 1 million. But he did it in a very short time. And he was told that basically all of these things are impossible. He was told to set his expectations a lot lower, to be reasonable, to be realistic, and he chose not to. And he attributes a lot of his success, like 95% of his success, to the act of journaling. And you may think like, how the hell does that even correlate? And I'm sure when you think of journaling, you're thinking of, at least like I did, it's laying on the bed and kicking your legs up like a 12-year-old and, dear diary, today Jimmy said hello. But that while recording your history and things like that is a part of the journaling journey, it's not the main focus. And so journaling, what we're supposed to do is do it as soon as we wake up. Like it's the first thing we're supposed to do. So before we're supposed to get up before everyone else, or if we can't do that, or we're not choosing not to do that, I should say, then we need to basically get up and remove ourselves from any other distractions or any other chaos, and get to a quiet place where we can just journal first thing in the morning. And the reason for this is because the understanding is that our subconscious, right, the thing that's dreaming and keeping us breathing and all those things while we sleep, it's doing a lot of background work while we sleep. So if we are thinking about maybe some problems or something before we go to sleep, the possibility of us having an answer to that or having something worked out in the morning is very high, because even though we've gone to sleep, the subconscious is still working. But instead of checking in with ourselves and our subconscious, or basically giving a moment to have any independent thoughts, the first thing that we do is jump on our phone or jump into email, and just start filling our heads with input. Or maybe we wake up to the baby crying or something like that. So we're immediately reacting. We are reacting and filling our heads with some outer stuff. Okay. So by taking a moment to remove yourself from all of that before your day gets started, and just like thought dump, as he calls it, which I kind of hate the way that sounds, but it's a good explanation. It's just like you don't necessarily have a plan. You're just like letting it come out. We are giving ourselves a moment to really potentially get some insight and stream of consciousness and answers to our issues that are really in us, because we're giving ourselves a chance to listen to ourselves. So that's how we start. Now, if that sounds like, okay, it can sound too woofy for you or anything like that, that's fine. You can choose to believe that. But there's a lot of research and science behind this concept that shows that it's worked, and there's a lot of successful people that swear by this as well. And I would say that their success is kind of a good marker to show that this is something that works. Now, if you're not sure where to start, you think, okay, Tanya, I'm hearing you. I'm gonna go try this journaling thing. And you get up in the morning and you're like, nothing's like, I can't think of anything. Then a good way to start is to start with your goals, right? So if you've done the exercise with us in some of the accountability group, we're doing our 5 top goals for 2018. We've written a lot of information about them. Now you can start with just reflecting on those, like, top 5 goals are going well today, did this, did that. Or maybe it's not even those goals. It can be the goals for the day. Like, today I really want to make sure that I'm having an attitude of gratitude. Or it could be, today I really want to make sure that I make that dentist appointment. I mean, wherever you are on the scale of your goals, you can start with that, and you'll start to see more information and thought, and like a stream of consciousness just kind of come through your writing as you just write it. You may come up with some great insights or ideas or further things for your goals and your business and whatnot. Just get that pen to paper. Just get started. And that's really what we're learning in the group, is just get started and be consistent. Now, I've always wanted to journal. I used to do it a lot when I was younger and I started traveling and 20s, all that stuff. I did a lot. And then it just kind of like started to fall ahead, and I always wanted to get back to it. But I didn't necessarily know why. I just kind of knew it was a good thing. I read that it was a good thing. I knew like it looked cool when you're in a cafe and you're writing. But okay, that's not the only reason. But I kind of put it aside. Like, I have other things to do, like getting up and meditating or doing yoga was more important to me. So I kind of threw the journaling aside. And when I did do it, like I started engaging it in again last year, I really didn't know where to start either. I kind of just like would write, and I was like, and I just lost interest. Honestly, I just lost interest. And with this set and consistency of waking up, going and doing it, thinking about my goals, checking in with myself, I have seriously already had breakthroughs. I have already had things come to me and just like, and it's not like come to me as some weird, like, woo, it came to me as like a ghost of Christmas present. No, it's just like stuff that's in my head already. I just never gave it a chance to be listened to check it out, because I was like, input, right? Even getting up and reading a book, like, it's still input, like, take a moment for that output. See what you have going on, because you probably have some pretty awesome stuff that you're missing by not giving it a freaking chance. So journaling, yes, I think it's been awesome. I'm loving it so far. I'm going to keep at it. I've been doing it not only every morning, but also at night. Now, one of the things that we talk about in the course is also going ahead and recording that history. Dear Diary, today, still do that. Now, there's a lot of different reasons why that can be beneficial. You can take that or leave it. I think it's kind of awesome because maybe when I'm, gone from this planet, I'll have bazillion years of recorded history that my son can read, or stuff like that, of my concepts and thoughts, or like, hey, Nakoa went down the slide on his own today and he's reading it when he's 40. So it could be cute, awesome, whatever. That's a personal thing. But I am doing that at the end of the day. So in the morning I do the stream of consciousness, and then at night I'm doing kind of the more recorded history of my day. So again, if you're, that's another place you could start. You could start there too, writing like, some other thoughts. Yesterday I did XYZ, and wherever it is. But I really, and it's not just me. In the group, we're really encouraged and basically required to do it in the morning. So do it in the morning. I think that's the most important thing, is that you're really getting there before any other distractions, finding that quiet place and doing that. So let's see, what else do we have here? And again, like 10 minutes a day. And this doesn't have to be like a half an hour or anything crazy. Just try 5 to 10 minutes to get started. If you end up going longer, good for you, but it doesn't have to be like a huge thing, to take up all your time. So let's see. Another thing is that we're doing for our first set, and what was mentioned in our first lessons here, was waking up early. Yes, waking up early. I know that's like for a lot of you. You just hear it and you're like, I hate everything about that. I don't have enough time here to even go through all the crazy benefits of waking up early. Um, I am a huge advocate of having a morning routine. It is just, it sets the tone for your entire day, period. You have to have a morning routine. You have to get prepped for the day. You have to have that moment and that space. For whatever it is, even if it's to get up and have your tea, and for me, listen to some Iron and Wine. Setting that tone as opposed to waking up with the alarm, having that sense of chaos and rush, and just giving yourself enough time to get from point A to point B. It's just, how does it feel? Honestly, I mean, tell me about that. How does it feel? Because even though you've slept in and you've taken that time to be like, I'm not waking up early, do you feel that great? Are you waking up like, oh, this is amazing? Because I know a lot of you, and I know a lot of you that don't get up, and I've never heard like, oh, I'm so glad that I waited and now I'm rushing to work and I have 15 minutes to get ready, but I slept in. Like, rarely am I hearing that there's a huge benefit there either. Being able to get up early and reconnect with your goals, put yourself in that mindset. You're putting yourself with like the top 5% of the world of who are doing something and making their dreams come true. There's a reason why that's a common thread amongst all these people. Some of the most successful people who already have plenty of money are still getting up early. They're just, I'm go on, and I'm going to go on. We're going to have a whole section about this because I see it too often, and you're leaving money, potential, goals, everything on the table by leaving this tiny little piece out of your regimen for your business success. There's such a connection. So anyway, we're going to go into that more, but get a morning routine. Have something, even if it's starting half an hour earlier. Maybe start 15 minutes earlier and little increment until you're up at 5 a.m. It needs to happen. And during that time, avoid social media. Don't check your email. Don't get any input. And then the next thing, and you're going to love this, is to introduce cold showers. Now, this is clearly optional, obviously, but this is something that's been talked a lot about in our group. And taking a cold shower. Now, I've known about the cold shower benefits for a while now based on the time that I was in the temple and stuff like that, training for Kung Fu. There was a lot of discussion of how the cold shower like reinvigorates the chi and gets the body ready. There's a lot of additional research on how this is a beneficial thing for you. Now, you don't have to switch it all up and just take, a half an hour cold shower. I mean, you shouldn't be taking half an hour showers anyway, especially California people who are always in a drought. But you don't have to do it that way. You can also just take your normal shower and incrementally kind of go like lower, kind of chill there for a little bit, and go a little lower, chill there for a little bit, and kind of ease yourself into it until by the end you're like taking a cold shower. The other option is to just take your normal shower and then at the very end just do a hello Lord have mercy, turn it, cold shower, got it, and you're out. Not only, again, is there all this scientific evidence about how that can really help your focus, and I mean, do you really need scientific evidence to prove it's going to wake you up? It's clearly going to wake you up as well. But it also really, like, I think there's a mental thing, and no one talked about this in the group. Maybe I need to go mention it in my little course group, but it doesn't sound fun, right? Like, it doesn't sound like a great thing to do. But first thing in the morning, you've done your stuff, you've done your journaling, you're now taking this shower, and you're like, all right, here, I'm just going to push through it and do it. Like, isn't that like a tiny victory already? Like, you already just achieved something that I'm sure 99% of your coworkers or people in your house or whatever are not doing. And also you already faced something. You faced a fear and you already had a tiny victory. I think that's like a huge mental part of it too. Like, all right, it was crazy, but I did it, Woo, done. So yeah, cold showers. So another thing that has been talked to us in our group for this first lesson, like we're still in the first section, right, was reading. And we were given a huge list of recommended books for the year, and the rest of the group was encouraged to also like add to that list. And there are, I don't know, close to 500 people, I think, in this group. And so there's a lot of books on there. but the first set that Benjamin Hardy's really, I don't know, required, somewhere between suggested and required. I don't know what that word would be. Somewhere in between that. Basically, like, you should do it, but I'm not telling you you have to. Is called the Master Key System, and it's very interesting. So I'm reading it right now, and it's kind of heady. So if you have a hard time with kind of like some of these like universe concepts and thinking and stuff, it might be a little tough for you. But I mean, a lot of successful people swear by it, and I'm just gonna dive head in and see what it is, right? Nothing wrong with trying it out. And it's interesting because it's set up in a set of like 24 sections, chapters, right? But you're only supposed to read one chapter a week, and each chapter, which are very, very short, have like a exercise, have like an exercise that you need to do. And so the exercise for this first week is actually just meditation. So it's like kind of easy, right? It's, I mean, kind of easy. It's kind of self-explanatory if nothing else. So it's 15 minutes of meditation. Which, yeah, meditation is hard. Like, let me go back and say that. Like, it's hard. I don't know if most of you guys know, but I did a 10-day vow of silence in Thailand a couple years ago, and I meditated for 11 hours a day. And prior to that, I had just been doing Kung Fu in China for 9 months, and honestly, 11 hours a day of meditation was way harder than any Kung Fu I'd ever done. And I don't know if you saw or heard my stories, but like, I was literally punched in the face and in the leg, and all of these things are in Kung Fu, and the meditation was harder. Okay, it was like the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. So yes, it is hard, and learning to try to master just 15 minutes of sitting there and just meditating is definitely something worth trying and learning to master. I'm going to go into a quick note. With that said, meditation, most people have a really misconception about what meditation is, and so they always think that it's about, oh, I can't think anything, I'm just going to not think anything, and then you try it and you're like, holy crap, I'm thinking all the time, this is ridiculous, and I'm obviously terrible at it. That's not really the basis of most meditation. I mean, to get to that point is great, but it's not what it is. A lot of it is most of it is sitting there, being still, having your calm moment, and your thoughts are going to come, like, because that's how the mind works. The thoughts are going to come, and you need to be able to recognize that thought and be like, hey, thought, I see you. You're thinking about the laundry now, and be like, and now you go. Time for you to go and get there. And then the next thought's going to come, and you recognize it, and then you send it on its way. That recognition is really the most important part, because what happens in meditation is that, what happens in life, I should say, our brain is sending us stuff all the time that we're not trying to think. We're not trying to think. It's just like, it's doing its own freaking thing. It's like scanning everything, blah, which helps us in a lot of ways. That's how we like drive and see a billboard and other cars and all at the same time, right? Because it's like doing that. But you start to realize how much you're not directing it. All right. You think like, well, I am my thoughts, right? Well, are you? Because it's running its own thing, and you're just like sitting there trying to meditate, and it's like, right? Totally like crazy. And you start to realize that when you take a moment to sit and actually do meditation, you start to realize, like, I have this monkey brain that's like, swing over here, swing over there, like, oh my gosh. And again, it's not about trying to necessarily eliminate that. It's really about recognizing it and then sending it on its way. And the more you practice that, then during the day when you're at Starbucks and someone cuts you off in line and you're like, that guy's such a jerk, you might be able to stop and be like, you know what, that's my brain just jumping in and be like, jerk. You're like, I don't really feel that guy's a jerk. I'm totally fine, and it doesn't really matter. I'm going to get my latte when I get it, right? It's going to help you start to do that. It's going to help you in a lot of ways. It's so beneficial. But anyway, point is, I know it's a long ramble. Point is, we're reading this book. It's week 1, and the first requirement was to do this meditation 3 to 4 times during the week. If you try to do 7 times, that's great, but it was only 3 to 4 times for this week of practice to try to master 15 minutes of meditation. So again, that book is called the Master Key System. I was able to find it for free online as a PDF, and it's like offered through the book. It's not like some weird pirated thing. So you can actually just get it for free if you're into PDFs, I'm sure it's available in a bazillion different places. I think there's even audio on YouTube, whatnot. Whatever you're into, if you're interested, try it out, see if you like it. I don't have more of an opinion than that because I'm just starting too. So then another thing, moving on, that we are doing, I know, I told you this is a lot, right? Like week one. It's a 90-day challenge. So they offered several different challenges. I was like, man, right off the bat, we're already jumping into like what we're doing here and this and that and 90-day challenges. And there were several. So you had the option to do like sugar-free, like no sugar for 90 days, like hardcore. There was a writing one, so a lot of people have writing aspirations. So there was like, I think you had to publish something like several times a week or who knows. Basically, there's a lot, right? I joined so predictable. Like I joined the weight loss one, right? If you saw my post recently, or the articles that if you follow me on Medium, you'll see that I posted my 2018 goals. That was part of our assignment was to, well, not to share it with the world, but part of our assignment was just to write them down. And I went a step further and shared them on as a blog. And my top one is to lose weight. Like 90% of everyone else in the world for New Year's. And I'm part of this group, and it's been totally awesome. I'm 2 weeks in. My goal is to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. I'm already at 3 pounds that I've lost, and I weigh in on Sunday. So we'll see if it keeps going, but it's been great to have that group of accountability. Anytime that I look at like the green tea lattes, which are everywhere in Thailand, and they use so much sugar and everything. So everything's so delicious, but it's obvious because it's filled with sugar. I think about it and I really kind of want one. And then I think, okay, I'm accountable to like all these people in my group who are going to know if they're going to know in 90 days if I've been drinking those lattes because it's going to show. So yeah, that's been helpful. I've been really enjoying that. I've also had some real huge breakthroughs, even with my relationship with food and exercise and all those things. Again, because of the journaling, like it's all meshing together. It's so crazy. Like I love this experience so far. So another thing, moving on. So excited and crazy here. Another thing that has been mentioned a lot in our thing for the group is turning towards gratitude and having an attitude of gratitude. Oh, rhymes, right? This can be done by simply writing something in your journal, like, okay, what am I grateful for? Scanning it. It may feel kind of forced at first, but I think what's going to happen is once you start practicing this exercise of just like thinking what you're grateful for, I think it's going to start to become second nature in your daily life, where you start to think like, I'm grateful for that. And I have noticed that. Now, that's one way to do it. Another way to do it, which is something I've kind of enjoyed, I've been trying to implement in my daily life, is to actually stop and have, for lack of a better word, I guess, moment of prayer and gratitude, and a recentering ultimately is kind of what it is for me. So I have a little note in my calendar, my notebook, that like mid-afternoon, which is actually around now, just literally I just stop for a minute. Like it can be 60 seconds. I stop and I just like kind of take an intentional breath. Now, if you've seen in the group, I've mentioned intentional breaths before. I think these are so important during the day. I used to actually have, I made a picture frame thing, and I had it right in front of my desk back when I lived in Long Beach, and it said, take one intentional breath. And what that is we're breathing all the time, right? But we're not really like trying to do it. It's just happening. So when you stop for a minute and you take one intentional breath, you're like, okay, just one, that's it. It is amazing the physiological change that just happens in you, the calmness that comes through you. Like you're not a meditation person, you know that? Like you just take a freaking intentional breath and see if that helps you out a little bit, right? And it will. It totally is going to. So what I do is I remind myself, because I'm not an expert at these things yet, and I want to be, but I have to write it down, and then I see it on my little list of things to do, and I'm like, oh, time to intentional breath. I do it, and I'm like, okay, where am I in my day? How do I feel? What are things that have happened that I'm grateful for? Sometimes as simple as my son being super adorable at the moment. Sometimes he's not being adorable, and I'm really grateful for my husband and his help. Other things like that. So the point is take a time during your day to take a moment to be conscious of what you're grateful for. And you can say it to yourself or out loud, write it down, doesn't really matter. So these are a lot of the concepts and things that have been taught to us so far in the group that we've been focused on, that we've been working on. We actually have like a list of goal sheets, daily goals. So not only do we have our goals for the year, but there's actually a list of goals, daily things that you can write out and just start tracking. And I think that's a huge part of it, is that we can set all these goals, but if we're not tracking it and really seeing our progress, it's easy for our memory to get blurry on whether or not we're actually doing good at these things. So I highly recommend that you track the things that you want to do. And it may seem tedious or weird at first, but that's what I've been doing. And I may even share it in the group, mine, that I've been doing. And even if I screw up a lot, like I really want to get up at 5 a.m. and I haven't done it like once this week. So, but I'm very clear that I haven't done it because I see it on my list and I have to fill out that 0 every time that I haven't met that goal yet. But we'll see. Next week's going to be a new week, and I've made a new commitment for that. So anyway, in addition to all these kind of lessons that we've learned, now there's a lot here, and I think the reason that they gave us a lot is because at the beginning of the course there was a lot of concepts that they wanted us to kind of, undergird and just grab on and understand before we started moving forward to some new exercises and challenges. So I know this is a lot, and honestly I think I probably even left out a few things. But these are the main key points that we grabbed. And you might think like, okay, this is a lot of like foofy here and there, but like what the hell does that have to do with my Instagram post or what I'm doing, for my sales funnel? And the short answer is everything. It has everything to do with that. If you are not organized, if you're not giving yourself that time in the morning to really set your goals and your pace for the day, if you are allowing all of this input to come in and you're jumping to your email instead of working on your top goals and prioritizing, you are not going to do as well as the top percentage of successful entrepreneurs. You need to be able to master yourself, to keep your stuff in order, to be a better entrepreneur. It's more so even than some of the 9-to-5ers, because the 9-to-5ers have an accountability group already, and it's called their boss. They have to get up at a certain time. They have to show up at a certain time. They have to prove their performance. And so that they have a built-in accountability group. Now, for those of us that don't, it's so important that we're able to do these things. And if we're chaotic, our daily lives are chaotic, your business is going to be crap. You're only going to see the negative. You're going to be overwhelmed. All of these things. You need to be supported. And I think this week is a great week to lay that foundation, to really start taking on tracking the things that you do and what you can do better for yourself. And the better you are, the better entrepreneur you're going to be. Now, with this, there are a couple assignments. I'm going to go in more detail of what the assignments are in a different video, but just to quick, peekaboo. The assignments are, the one is to write your top 5 goals for 2018. We're going to be going through that. Another thing is going to be uncommitting and breaking up with stuff for 2018. And getting to your why, but your why also goes right along with your goals. So I don't know if I'm missing anything else here, but I'm going to go over those details and the worksheets and stuff like that. If you like this and this all sounds really exciting, then sign up and I'll have these lessons sent to you in your email. The links are everywhere in the group right now. Or if you really want to step up, we are doing an accountability group. So you will actually be required to do the same work that I am doing in my group, and we will chat and discuss. And I'm going to figure out as we go along some also reward systems, which will be anywhere from getting some help with your emails or perhaps some free designs and even money and things like that. So I'm still working it out as well as I learn with you guys. But we have some great people in the group already. I encourage you to join if you want to see some momentum. I already paid for this course, so you're really getting the benefits for nothing. So that's all. This is kind of long, guys, but I hope you've enjoyed it. If there's you just want to comment on something, you like something I said, or you think it's a bunch of crap, or you have some questions about something, just comment below and I always get back to you, right? Okay, so have a good one. Bye.